I think the funniest thing about this movie is that this whole situation could have been avoided if our main guy wasn't such a fucking chud. Fellas, don't be like Bear. Just shoot your shot. The worst you can say is no, 99% of the time. But if I was Bear, me personally...
Wouldn't let that shit happen to me, though.
So, Obsession is an all-new dark comedy horror film. The film is directed by Curry Barker, and it stars Inde Navarrete, Michael Johnston, Cooper Tomlinson, and Megan Lawless. After breaking the mysterious One-Wish Willow to win the hearts of his crush, a hopeless romantic gets exactly what he asked for. However, he soon discovers that some desires come at a dark and sinister price. So if you haven't heard the news by now, Obsession is an absolute banger. This movie is getting all kinds of praise from left, right, and center from critics and audiences, and rightfully so. There is so much to unpack in this story that I don't even know where to start. Let's start with the woman of the hour, Inde Navarrete. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a superstar in the making. The amount of God-given talents this woman portrays on the screen is just unbelievably satisfying. It is truly a marvelous feat to witness. Inde Navarrete has blessed our timeline with an S-tier stellar performance. She brings in such a high level of intensity, unhinged, unsettling, bubbly, and yet versatile performance. The choices she makes when it comes to her physicality is insane. She will go from giving our main character the bubbly heart eyes to staring down the audience through the camera. This is an experience I haven't felt in quite a while. This is the face of the horror genre right now. I said what I said. Inde Navarrete as Nikki is both beautiful yet terrifying. I know a lot of dudes in real life that would fight in a coliseum for her, and I'm one of them. But her performance was absolutely stellar. Matter of fact, there is a scene where she literally makes this face, and I swear to you, it got a good laugh out of me. I bursted out laughing, and then 2 minutes later, I was sitting there in shock. That is how captivating this woman's performance is. 1 minute you're laughing, the next minute you're clenching your asshole. I know this gets thrown out a lot, but listen, this woman has to get some recognition by the Academy come award season. There is no way you can just look past this, but knowing the Academy when it comes to horror, they probably will. Same way they did Toni Collette in Hereditary, and the same way they did Naomi Scott in Smile 2. And that's unfortunate because her greatness should not go unnoticed. The entire cast is great all in all, but Inde Navarrete, she stole the show. One thing I do want to point out, and I hope more people talk about this in their review, but the lighting in this movie is insane. There are moments where we see Nikki standing in the shadows and her entire face, or at least the front of her body, is just covered in darkness. And I love that because it is another clear-cut example of how Nikki is no longer with us. That is not Nikki, that is Satan. But she could be standing in the dark and the only form of light that you see are the tiny glares you see coming from her pupils. That shit is haunting. And I gotta say, Curry Barker delivered an outstanding story to us. On paper, it seems simple, but when you watch the entire film in its execution, it's actually pretty groundbreaking if you think about it. This is a world where magic exists and people kind of accept it. The One-Wish Willow as a concept was very interesting. One single wish and this thing will grant you whatever you want. And if you try to make another wish with another willow, it doesn't work. In fact, the object itself doesn't even break. That is a very interesting concept. I like that a lot. And I'll take this even a step further. Obsession is a tragedy about a woman's autonomy being stripped away from her in order to please, or I guess satisfy, the good guy's fantasy. Nikki is a victim, and the film makes that abundantly clear. Yes, Nikki commits some very heinous acts, but at the end of the day, this isn't really her fault, because the truth is, it's Bear's fault, our main guy. And the story also proves that Bear is not a good person. Sure, you could have some empathy for the guy, but Bear is the villain of this movie. If Bear's actions doesn't convince young men to start shooting their shot, I don't know what will. Obsession is a very dark and disturbing movie, no question about it. The One-Wish Willow is very cruel and unforgiving, and not only that, this simple, basic story is also cruel and unforgiving. Obsession is a very bleak film, and I'm glad the film hones in more on that because I kind of like films that have dark endings because it's a huge divert from typical endings you would see in most horror films, or really most films in general. And when the film is not being bleak, It is absolutely hilarious. The way Curry Barker was able to create a great blend of dark comedy and terror should not go unnoticed. There is genuine laughter, and then there's that uncomfortable laughter, and it created a hell of an experience for me and my audience. I'm not the type of person to really join the hype train or the hype crowd, but this movie is honestly off the fucking charts. I'm not even joking. Obsession is easily the best horror film to come out this year, and I do believe in time this will go down as one of the best films of all time. I said it right now. I'm calling it. I'm not trying to be a dick rider, but I cannot stress enough how absolutely amazing Obsession is. From an acting standpoint, from a narrative standpoint, and just from an overall thought-provoking standpoint as well. And if I'm not mistaken, this movie only costed $1 million to make. Once again, you do not need a $200 million budget to make peak cinema. Sometimes all you need is a great cast, $1 million, and a vision. And Curry Barker has truly delivered us that vision. But in the end, guys, I absolutely adored Obsession. It's fun, it's thrilling, it's exciting, it's hilarious, it's beyond disturbing, and honestly, it's one of the best experiences I've ever had in the theater in a while. If you hate this movie, you have no taste. I said it. So, plugging Obsession into the rank system, I am placing this one into the pinnacle zone. But yeah, y'all, that is pretty much my review for Obsession. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought about the film. Did you love it? Did you hate it? If the one wish Willow was real, what would you wish for? Whatever you thought, let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, guys, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you all in the next one.